I think my real interest, if I traced it back, was curiosity about the physical world, which is what physics is.
One might imagine, at least, that one's talking about nature when one's talking about the character of physical laws. But I don't want to talk about nature, but rather how we stand relative to nature now. I want to tell you what we think we know, and what there is to guess, and how one goes about guessing.
This is the piece of the equation which describes how the Higgs field acquires its value.
So welcome to our 45th edition of our Physics Matters series. So my name is Christine Dove. I'm the former chair of the Forum of International Physics at the American Physical Society. I'm an engineering scientist and currently work in Sweden at the European Spatial Force. So our Physics Matters series fosters cooperation for the developing community worldwide, and it's inspired by the Sesame Light source in Jordan. So this popular series aims to advance scientific knowledge across borders. So for over than 3 years, so our scientific expedition have gathered exclusive invitees and provided a free access platform for everyone driven by scientific curiosity to engage with experts. So we focus on scientific issues enhanced by major research infrastructure and educational collaboration. So addressing all the societal challenge and promoting a global understanding on topics such as environment and then medical challenge. So to keep us alive as well, so please try to reach a broader audience and to spread the word, and visit our webpage that contains all those materials, all those precious expeditions. So today, so we are following and we are going to have with us, so Stefan Kenmore, who is the editor of FIP newsletter, and he's a scientist at the University of Dresden-Essen in Germany. We have with us also Cyrus Water, who is the president of the International Association of Physics Students, the IAPS, but he's also the APS ambassador, so American Physical Society. A lot of acronym today, sorry, so I hope it will be fine for you. And we have also in the audience, so our, my dear, so former chair, so Alan Hurt, who is also from Los Alamos, the former chair of the Forum of International Physics. So we have in the audience also several colleagues who will be able to support with more vibrant questions at the end, that we will have possibility to give you also, so the question and answer box that you have there, and you will be able to interact with Katie and Zara. So Katie and Zara from the Institute of International Education, so the IIE, another acronym. So they are our special guests today. And Katie has been working for more than 15 years in this international education field, and she believes that global exchange has the power to change the world. I fully agree and endorse that too. So since joining the IIE in 2014, so she was working on a corporate scholarship program, K-12 teacher exchange program, and a Fulbright program. So Katie joined the TechWomen team in 2017, first supporting participants during their TechWomen experience, and now as the program director overseeing daily operation. So this is really an overall programmatic so activities, and she's managing the talented women tech team. And our second guest today is Zara Qadafi, who has been joining the IIE team, so in the summer of 2017, so when she became undergraduate advisor for COAST Gifted Student Program. So the Gifted Student Program called COAST, so we'll hear a bit more about that too. And she made the move to this experimental learning team in the spring of 2019 to head up the PDIE. So again, we'll hear more about those acronyms, as a professional development study abroad program for the Brazilian English teacher. And that's also interesting to reach worldwide. So most recently, Zaria joined the Women Tech team to serve as a program officer and has since transitioned into the role of communication and impact analysis. So with over more than a decade of experience in the field of international education, so Zaria had worked in Brazil, in Paraguay, in Vietnam, in Washington, D.C., so again, worldwide, and she has a long life lover for this interest with language art and earned her Bachelor of Art degree in English from the University of Missouri. So with that short introduction, so dear lady, TechWomen, so I let you the possibility to share your screen, and then we'll come back at the end of your presentation with more questions. So please start at any time to write your own question and in this question and answer box, and we'll be able to address them later on. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Christine, for having us. I'm going to go ahead and get set up here. Make sure that you can see the nice slides. Hold on. There we go. Ooh. Okay. So once again, thank you so much. My name is Katie Z. I'm the director of the TechWomen program at the Institute of International Education, which again, as Christine said, is gone by an acronym, IIE. So I wanted to spend a little time talking about what TechWomen is today before I let Zaria take over and talk about all the fantastic work that the alumni of the TechWomen program are doing in all the countries that we work in. So by way of stage setting, the most important thing I think to know about TechWomen is that our goal is to empower and connect the next generation of women leaders in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And we currently work in Africa, South and Central Asia, and the Middle East. So a little bit about how our program works. So the TechWomen program is fully funded by the U.S. Department of State's Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs. So that's part of the U.S. government. And IIE manages that program on behalf of ECA. In short, the TechWomen program is an annual 5-week mentorship and exchange program. It takes place in the San Francisco Bay Area, as well as Chicago, Illinois in the U.S. And then we converge in Washington, D.C. Throughout the participants' time in the United States, we call our participants emerging leaders. They engage in cultural exchange, they collaborate with professional mentors, and develop impact projects to be implemented after the program. In terms of the sheer network that TechWomen has, we've been in existence since 2011. So since that time, we now have over 1,000 fellows, our program alumni, from 22 countries. It's listed up here on the screen. And I wanted to share with all of you that we are also expanding to Albania and Montenegro next year. So we are expanding to Europe, which is very exciting. So I hope that if you have any contacts in Albania and Montenegro, amazing women in STEM, who might want to participate in the TechWomen program, I hope you'll let us know. And we have actually over 1,200 volunteer mentors who represent nearly 200 companies in Silicon Valley, Chicago, and beyond. And these volunteers support our program participants, the emerging leaders, during their time in the United States. The point of our presentation today, and again, this is where Zaria will come in, is we have an amazing global network. We have, again, these 1,135 program alumni who have gone through this 5-week program in either the Bay Area or in Chicago. And they emerge from the TechWomen program inspired to make a difference in their communities with advanced professional skills. They are leaders in their communities, and they're doing incredible work to really kind of carry on the mission of TechWomen. And they're really looking to change their communities, inspire girls to study STEM fields in their countries, and form networks for other women in STEM in their communities. So before I let Zaria talk about the great work that our alumni are doing, I thought I would share just a very quick video. It's only 1 minute, which will give you a little bit more of an idea of who what TechWomen is and who are TechWomen. So give me 1 second to pull this up.
I'm rolling. We are innovative, inspired, international.
We are programmers,
mechanical engineers,
change makers,
and entrepreneurs.
We are
changing the face
of the tech industry by challenging stereotypes,
raising the bar,
and paving the way for the next generation
of women in tech.
We are TechWomen.
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 A global network of emerging leaders
and mentors,
exchanging ideas
and supporting each other
in science,
technology,
engineering, and mathematics.
dedicated to connecting women
from all over the world
to find work that is meaningful
and reach our full potential.
We are driven,
capable,
and passionate
about giving back
to our communities.
We are
TechWomen.
TechWomen.
We're just like you.
Like you.
Like you.
That is one of our favorite videos to share, and I'm sorry that I couldn't get it full screen. I was trying, but the video is linked in the PowerPoint. So I hope you'll take the time to visit our YouTube channel after this presentation at some point and see this and some other great video content that we have. So again, the reason I'm here today is really just to introduce the TechWomen program, but it is my great honor to introduce to you my wonderful colleague, Zaria Qadafi, who's our communications and impact analyst, who will really get into the meat and be able to talk about the amazing work that our fellows are doing. So Zaria, I pass it off to you.
Thank you so much, Katie. I'm so bolstered by watching that video again, even though I just saw it yesterday. I love it so much. You know, the role of communications and impact analyst for TechWomen is one of my favorite roles I've ever had in my whole career. As was mentioned earlier, I've worked in international education and development for over 15 years at this point. That's a secret. All over the world, and I've always really truly enjoy it. Next slide, please. But TechWomen specifically, I love this role because I really get to delve into the stories of each of our women. So that's what I'm going to talk about momentarily. And I'm kind of laughing about when Katie said, I hope you watch our YouTube, because my mother has known I've worked for TechWomen for a long time. Obviously, I'm always doing events, I'm always traveling, doing presentations and whatnot and talking about it. And then one day, for some reason, she went on our YouTube and she gets so excited. She's like, Zaria, look at all these cool projects these women are doing. This program is phenomenal. And I'm like, Mom, I know. I helped make that video. Like, I know. So this is what my role is. My role is the storyteller of TechWomen. So in my role, I'm really trying to get the connections together and the amplification of their story. That is my main role. How that comes across is through managing our relationships with press. Social media is probably my primary function. Putting together media kits and media notes. Another really big function on the more inside end is impact reports. If you look at this slide that we have right here, in the top left corner, it says TechWomen's Global Impact. That is the impact page on our website. And you can see there's a bunch of different countries highlighted in orange. That represents all of our program countries. Perhaps one day the whole map will be orange. So if you were to click on any country on our map, it would pull up these stories. You can see a story coming up on the right side. There's two stories there, one from Pakistan. Another one, another one is a group activity that was done, a tech camp, where our fellows came together in one country from one region to do a lot of professional development and training. So any kind of activity that they are doing, any big impact they are making in our policy areas, which overlap a great deal with the Sustainable Development Goals, we are trying to collect. Over to the right, the far right, you can see these reports on the side of the screen. that represent the reports I put together every week. So I joke that I cyberstalk our community, but that's actually really not a joke. My job is to scroll around on the internet, look for news stories, look for LinkedIn posts, look for Instagram posts, Instagram stories, whatever I can, where they are sharing about what they have been doing to impact the world. And then I write these reports for the State Department every week, 3 stories a week for the State Department, as well as our biggest stakeholders. And then we go and put those stories onto the global impact map. We also share some of those stories on our social media. And of course, we share all of our program activities on our social media as well. So the policy areas that we're usually looking for are economic impact, entrepreneurship, environmental sustainability, public health initiatives, youth engagement, professional development, education, diplomacy, and mentoring, and empowering women and girls. And we also do special reports. For example, if they're in the news for something big that doesn't fall into one of those categories, or if they all come together for a summit that we're putting together or that one of our partners is putting together, and we share that. So we are tracking the impact of TechWomen over the years. We now have hundreds of stories of what these women are up to, and we're following their careers and their impact and their ripple effect across the globe. And on the bottom of the screen, you can see some of the clips from our social media where we are sharing examples of them launching initiatives, public speaking, engaging with children on our delegation trips when we go abroad to visit their countries. When they are, the final clip on the far right bottom corner shows an example of one of the fellows who mentored a group of children who went on to compete, who won a competition that allowed them to go on a trip to visit NASA, I think in Cape Canaveral in Florida. And so we are capturing their stories. And what I'd like to do today is share just a smattering of those stories so that you can get a closer, in-depth look at what our TechWomen are up to, and also where you might have opportunities to connect or collaborate with them. And we try to give a range of types of impact that they're making, because it really is a diverse range of work that they're doing. Next slide, please. So first off, we're going to start with Nora Magero. Nora is a fellow from Kenya, and she is the co-founder and CEO of Drop Access Limited. So Drop Access Limited is a nonprofit focused on rural energy access. So they do a lot of things, and they are focused on innovation and invention. And one of their big recent inventions or innovations is the VaxiBox, and it has gotten a lot of traction, a lot of attention. It is a cold chain solution for delivering heat-sensitive medications to rural communities. So anything that needs to be that needs to be kept cold can be a challenge for a rural community to keep on hand or to receive, because it has to travel to a long distance. The medication could spoil, the medication could be expensive, and that could really be a challenge for receiving vaccines, for example, for children. So this VaxiBox is portable, solar-powered, refrigerated. It can be wheeled by hand or mounted on vehicles. It has like a telescopic handle. It can be mounted on a motorcycle, a boat, even a pack animal like a donkey. And it features it features a proprietary printed circuit board that monitors the interior temperature, battery storage, location of the box, and more. And we actually have a video clip really quickly of this one from when Nora was featured in Indigenous Solutions for Rural Health, the story of VaxiBox in Kenya.
My name is Nora Magero. I'm the co-founder and CEO for Drop Access, and I'm leading the team that has developed VaxiBox. VaxiBox is a portable healthcare refrigerator that is ideal for transportation and storage of heat-sensitive medical items, such as vaccines. The design of VaxiBox has been inspired by my own personal experience as a mom. I live in a rural community, and when I had my child, I faced a bit of challenges trying to get her vaccinated, because sometimes the vaccines were simply not available, since there was no sufficient cold storage for vaccines. So if you look at how Vaxibox has been designed, you see that it incorporates all the gaps that are faced with vaccine inequities in rural communities in Kenya. So the fridge is portable, it can be mounted on a boat, a bicycle, it can be wheeled or even be placed on a donkey so that these heat-sensitive medical items can be transported as fast as possible to any community. But then also being in the engineering and energy industry and learning the African landscape and the challenges that rural communities do face with just cold storage in general prompted us to be able to design this Vaxibox refrigerator.
Vaxibox is a solar-powered fridge. The solution was highly guided by healthcare professionals. We had a lot of discussions with nurses and clinicians in rural health facilities. They explained the problem that they were experiencing, and from that is where we fine-tuned our solution to what it is today. So we have a PCB that we designed ourselves that is installed inside the fridge. Then with that, we can be able to monitor the temperature inside the fridge. We can be able to monitor the location where the fridge is. One of their biggest challenges is reaching people in these remote communities. We've experienced this in one of the sites where we've taken Vaxibox in a Maasai Conservancy. We find that the culture there does not really encourage people to go to hospital. So the nurses actually have to carry the vaccines and the other medications and take them to the manyatas to look for these children, to look for the mothers and give them the vaccines. And that is not something that they can do with the traditional sort of vaccine refrigerator that is normally in health facilities.
Thank you. And I mentioned earlier that my main role and what I do in my role is I help to connect and amplify.
Le premier moyen, le meilleur moyen et le moyen le plus efficace.
It went on to her next video. So I think that Nora is doing a great job of amplifying her message. She has recently been tapped selected as a TED Fellow for 2024. Which recognizes professionals who have identified solutions to world-changing ideas. So she's really getting her message out there. We're really getting her message out there. And that is really what we are trying to do, because that helps connect them to people who can spread what they're doing. So if you want to take action, if you're interested in what Nora's doing, or you know people who are interested, you can visit Drop Access at dropaccess.org to learn more about their other programs. You can donate, or you can encourage people to donate, or you can reach out to us, TechWomen at IE.org, if you're interested in getting in touch with Nora to collaborate, and we can certainly make an introduction. So next slide, please. I also want to talk to you about Nermeen Salah. Nermeen Salah is one of our fellows from Egypt. And Nermeen came through TechWomen in 2013, so just 2 years after we launched. And she has stayed in touch over the years. I love Nermeen because Nermeen always reaches out to me. I don't have to go hunting her down. She'll reach out to me and let me know what she's up to, and she's always up to something great. So most recently, she was tapped to become the program manager for the Minister of Higher Education and Scientific Research's Innovators Support Fund, ISF, in Egypt. And this program is designed to transform Egyptian universities into more innovative and entrepreneurial institutions. So Nermeen launched Bio-Eye Challenges, a program which recruits undergrad teams of undergraduates in STEM fields, and allows them to work on real industrial challenges offered by Egyptian top industries. And some of these industries include food and beverage, cosmetic, pharmaceuticals, biotech. She's challenging the skills gap in the Egyptian labor market. So there's a lot of qualified college graduates who lack soft skills, such as critical thinking, problem solving, and pitching skills. And this is something we're really proud of with TechWomen. That's one of our sort of biggest impacts we make is we have these women come over with hard skills. We're not really teaching hard skills in TechWomen. They come over already as mechanical engineers, already as chemists. And what we really do with our program is we help them learn how to become stronger networkers, how to become stronger storytellers of their stories, how to pitch effectively and quickly, how to connect with people in a meaningful way to move the needle forward towards financing or research. So we are so proud when they then immediately take those skills and start pushing them out into the world. So that's exactly what Nermeen is doing. It's so exciting. She actually recently appeared on Egyptian national television program called Egypt is Beautiful to talk about this. And I think she also mentioned the TechWomen program. We're not going to play that video because it's all in Arabic, and I don't know how many people on this video can understand Arabic. But she's very, very impressive. She was awarded a couple of years ago an Erasmus Plus Student and Staff Higher Education and Mobility Grant, which was utilized at the Computational Chemistry Department at the German University in Cairo, because she also is very good at connecting with people for research internationally. So one thing that she did a couple of years ago was she published a study. Now, I know some of the people on this call are going to understand what I'm talking about and some might not. She published a study furthering her research on a breast cancer medication entitled Structure Activity Relationships of Triphenylphene, I hope I said that right, derivatives and their evaluation as anti-cancer and antiviral agents. And she also co-authored another study called Design Synthesis and Metabolite Identification of tamoxifen esterase activatable prodrugs. I know that was a lot of words, but basically it's an important medication used in the treatment of hormonal dependent breast cancers. And what I'm getting at is that she was able to execute part of this with research done by her TechWomen mentor in the USA. So she told her mentor, we don't quite have all the supplies and machines that we need. Could you connect with us and we can connect on this research and co-publish this if you guys do some of the experiments and tell us how they went, like let's connect internationally. So that was another one of the really big benefits of the TechWomen program. Her mentor's name is Bianca Lederer. And she's moving forward. They're making the world smaller. So I'm very impressed with everything Nermeen is doing. And if you are interested in anything Nermeen is up to, you can reach out to her at nermeen.sala@guc.edu. And of course, if you don't have time to write down these email addresses, you can just email us at techwomen@iie.org. Even if you just give us the first name of the person that you're interested in, and we can facilitate connection. So that's a really great example of one of our researchers who's also an innovator and a community connector who's driving economic change. Okay, next slide, please. All right, now we're going to move over to Central Asia, to Turkmenistan. I also love Merjan because Merjan keeps me updated, which I love. Merjan Saparmiradova is the co-founder and director of Sanli Bilim, which is bringing tech boot camps to Turkmenistan. And Turkmenistan is still pretty, I think, fresh in the world of like women getting involved in boot camps and whatnot. So this is really groundbreaking over in Turkmenistan. And we're very excited that a lot of our TechWomen alum are leading the way in empowering women and girls in tech in Turkmenistan. So her first project. Oh, we already have a great question. Okay, I'll let Katie answer that one while I'm talking. So our first project, Salesforce developer, her first project, Salesforce Developer Bootcamp for Women, started on March 15th, 2024, and will finish August 26th, 2024. And this is a Salesforce training course designed to create new employment opportunities in information computer technology sector for girls and women over 18 years of age in Turkmenistan. The 5-month program will provide them with in-demand skills in Salesforce, web development, and IT management, preparing them for a successful career or starting their own business. In addition, participants will gain valuable knowledge on building high-quality resumes and cover letters and develop necessary communication skills and learn how to create an online portfolio for freelance opportunities, which is really big because then they can go and market their skills internationally as well. And we also have a very quick video just showcasing their recent bootcamp launch. and we're going to play it for you now. Thank you so much, Katie. And I also want to highlight how they're doing such a great job at reconnecting with the U.S. State Department when they go back. So you'll notice, like, she has some sponsorship from USAID. A lot of times when they go back and they want to launch something, they'll go to their U.S. embassy and say, what programs are you guys running that are empowering women in tech or in business? And how can I link up with that program to throw a conference or throw a training or a boot camp or an event? So like I said, TechWomen really is about helping teach them how to grow their soft skills. And I also just want to highlight how wonderful that video was, because they're also really good at storytelling. And I always say that if a tree falls in the woods, like, and no one's around to post it on Twitter, like, did it make a sound? A lot of people do amazing, great things, but if they're not capturing it, then it's really hard to get backing and funding. And so that's another thing that we try to exemplify, is how to tell a story so that you can share it with other people when it's time to raise money or to raise support. So very proud of Mergen. And if you want to connect with Mergen, if you have online remote opportunities for bootcamp alumni, or if you're seeking partners in Central Asia, you can reach out to her at mergenbb@gmail.com. Next slide, please. Next up, we have from Nigeria, which is one of our most competitive countries. We always get thousands of applications from Nigeria. It's extremely robust community over there. Abiola Ilupeji, I hope I said that right. And she's the founder of STEM on Web. This is a new online platform that connects students, teachers, and their parents for educational purposes. Users can upload videos of science experiments and showcase their inventions. And what they're trying to do is leverage social media for the benefit of education, promote access to resources, and connect teachers and students through study groups. Abiola is an information technology consultant with professional experience in software development, software quality assurance testing, cybersecurity. She has over 15 years of experience in the field, and she helps organizations deliver secure and resilient IT systems. And she also raises top-notch talents for the software development field through something called Moat Academy, MOAT Academy. So I think Moat Academy has been along for a while, and STEM on Web is brand new. So what they are looking for is video content showcasing science experiments or experimental techniques to get students interested, or to give something that teachers can do with their students, to get them motivated and excited about STEM, and to show them the magic of STEM. So this platform is very new. I don't think they even have any real courses or anything yet. So if you are excited about science, or you know someone who's excited about science and loves to do fun, exciting experiments, then please contact Abiola at info@stemonweb.com. Next slide, please. We just have a couple more. We're being greedy. We wanted to show you a lot. So we have a few more, a handful more. And again, we could almost just throw a dart at a board and pick out something phenomenal. Every single one of our alumni has an amazing story. Next up is Zebo Isakova from Uzbekistan. And Zebo is the project manager for the Saiga Conservation Alliance, in addition to several other roles that she holds as a consultant contractor for the Uzbek government and governmental agencies in the realm of environmental sustainability. She recently published the article Saiga Day, Role and Importance in the Development of Green Skills. Saiga Day is a spring festival marking nature's life cycle, and it serves to unite communities across the animal's natural range in Central Asia and Russia, and to sort of celebrate the cycle of life and help get, what she tries to do is help get students involved in green activities like recycling, reusing, upcycling, things like that, preserving nature. She recently presented EcoSTEAM outdoor learning environments and STEAM interactive lab spaces to the Innovative STEAM Education Club. And she's looking for organizations or individuals committed to STEAM education, and is encouraging them to connect with her about partnership opportunities. She's also exploring how AI tools can streamline project management in the civil sector, because she works very much in the civil sector. And so she's looking for anyone who wants to share their experiences and insights to contribute to a broader understanding of AI applications in civil service. So we really wanted to highlight Zebo because this is an example of someone who is like an entrepreneur. They are working inside of agencies. So they don't always get all the credit, like for being innovative and for being a leader and a change maker, because they're just like kind of quietly inside these organizations, but they're doing so much for the community. It's not a private organization. They don't get to necessarily be as loud about it. But she has experience in working with international organizations such as ETF, British Council, UNDP, UNFAO, American Councils, Internews, SOS Children's Village, USAID, AVC, and then of course, local governances, NGOs, higher ed institutions. So she's really making a really big difference. She is an intrapreneur in her own way, because she is trying to change systems from the inside to make people embrace green technology and green systems, circular economies in Central Asia. So if you have any interest in that, please feel free to connect with Zebo. I forgot to include her contact info, but you can of course reach out to TechWomen at IIE.org for her. Next slide, please. Okay, now we're going to talk about someone who is like a think tank, someone who works in think tanks, someone who is speaker and a writer. So we have Jessica Obaid from Lebanon. She is the founding partner at New Energy Consult, recently appointed as the president of the Organization for Petroleum and Energy Sustainability, OPES. She's an energy expert with 15 years of experience in engineering, think tanks, and consulting in EMEA, in contributing to the development of sustainable energy systems. She's the founder of, as I mentioned, New Energy Consult, which is in Dubai. She's also a non-resident scholar for the Middle East Institute in Washington, D.C., and she's a senior global advisor for Azure Strategy in London, England, where I believe she currently resides. So she's very global. She has a very big global reach. She recently last year presented at the 44th International Association for Energy Economics Conference in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, where she focused on circular carbon economies in MENA countries. And she has contributed a chapter to the next big thing in MENA Power, Grids and Energy Storage, to the Middle East Energy Institute's policy series book, Energy Transitions in the Middle East. She also contributed to the report, Economic Diversification, Energy Transition, and the Labor Market in Iraq and the Gulf, after they had a conference regarding these issues. So a different kind of change maker, someone who is more prolific in using, in speaking and writing on these issues and really pulling people together. So she's a really great contact for anyone who's interested in collaborating on Middle East energy and clean transition. And you can reach out to us if you would like to, if this piques your interest, and if you have any questions for Jessica or would like to collaborate with her. And finally, next slide, please. We have Binta Mustafa, the founder of Cabinet Zinder Hub in Nigeria, although I believe she lives in Niger, where her husband is from, which is great, expanding impact. So she actually started Cabinet Zinder Hub, I believe, when she moved to Niger because she was seeking community and also to make a difference. She's a specialist in non-governmental organizations with experience in both Anglophone and Francophone West Africa. She's passionate about initiatives that invest in girls, women, and youth, and she's also passionate about climate activism. She is a member of FAMWEN, Cross River State, Nigeria, to establish a nursery and primary school with an adjacent madrasa. I'm not sure if you understand what that means, but that's relating to, I think, Muslim communities. She tries to foster community between Muslim communities inside of Christian majority areas, fostering peace and social cohesion. She's leveraged her experience in founding and managing a nonprofit, Cabinet Zinder Hub, that promotes STEM education. And oh gosh, she's done so much. I honestly can't read her whole bio because it's too long. So I'll just start with this. She recently was selected for the FIP for Mentorship program, which is a program that I think lasts several months, aimed at equipping organizations with essential knowledge and skills to effectively guide and support them. This is focused on female-led startups. And what it does is it tries to teach them how to be stronger, like, change makers. So in the middle of this process, she launched Climate Innovation Challenge, empowering female entrepreneurs in West Africa. So this innovation challenge aims to accelerate climate financial innovations led by female entrepreneurs and will foster collaboration, provide support, and recognize ventures that drive sustainable solutions and empower women in the fight against climate change. So she starts this one organization, and then they empower her, and then she, through this organization, she wins the opportunity to go into a new program, which empowers her to start a new program. So it's really a beautiful example of the ripple effect of how one influence can spark off a greater influence all over a community, and who knows where that will lead. And we have a lot of examples of this kind of thing happening in our organization, where there's like a multiplication factor, where a woman will leave our program and she's very good at like bootstrapping and she's exhausted, and then she learns how to raise money while she's in TechWomen. She goes back home and she starts raising, $100,000. And then through that, she gets into another accelerator and raises another $100,000 and uses that to launch a shoot-off program, and then appoints a new leader to run that program. And then that program takes off and running. And then before you know it, she's running 4 different programs, and she's got all these other women under her. And then one of them applies to be a TechWoman. And then that person eventually gets accepted and comes over to us and gets all these soft skills. And it continues and continues. So we will continue to track their progress over as this organization continues to grow. Our initiative is now in its 13th year, I believe, or 14th year. So we are still relatively young, and we really are tracking our global impact. If you are interested in climate empowerment for women in West Africa, please reach out to Binta at binta.mustafa2010@gmail.com. And that is the last of our profiles, I believe. Next slide. Yes. So next steps, and thank you all for your patience and for listening for me talk for 30 minutes. Next step, if you're very, very curious about everything I've been talking about, then please visit our impact map at techwomen.org. You can just go to our menu and I think go down to programs. I'm not sure. Just go down to impact and click on it, and it'll take you to the impact map. If you have any questions about that, let us know. Follow us at TechWomen on social media. And you can, of course, email us at techwomen@iee.org for introductions to support an impact, a project or initiative, or to let the community know about something that you have available, such as an opportunity or grant opportunity, employment or grant opportunity. So now, I've been talking so long, I'm ready. Does anyone have any questions for myself or Katie?
Thanks a lot for this wonderful overview. So of all the capacity as well that you have. So to connect indeed and to amplify, but it's much, much more than that from what we saw. So do we have a different question? So very good. So we have, so maybe from Sanja. So we had some comments I will read, or maybe Sanja, do you want to speak? So I can allow you to talk if you come with us, because that could be an introduction as well for the next speaker. So Sanja will be next month.
Thanks, Christina, and I very much enjoy this presentation. And in particular, I very much like this topic. And I'm myself from Montenegro, from the Western Balkan. And then actually in the past, I know Christina because I'm scientist. I work at CERN for more than 20 years in CERN Geneva, but I had opportunity to be even Minister of Science in Montenegro. So wow. My question to you is, I was very happy to see that you have already cooperation established with some of the countries from the Western Balkan, and my interest is in particular for Montenegro. And here my question is, with which institutions you are cooperating in Montenegro? And the other part which I put here in the text is that I myself participate in one of EU Horizon Europe project. It's called Policy Answers, but it's focused on helping research and innovation establishing in the Western Balkan. So we will be ready if you want to disseminate your activities and so to also attract other Western Balkan countries to join. And here, second question, which I wrote here is, what are the conditions, how one can become part of your team? Are these individuals who are applying, or you really need a special institution to establish collaboration with you? That is in short.
These are great questions. And Sonia, I cannot wait to connect after this. We are so excited to expand to Montenegro, and I would love to let you know a little bit more about the program in detail, and we can connect about how to spread the word to Montenegrin women in STEM so that they can apply for the program. So yes, let's connect afterwards. I will say too, so in terms of the participants of the TechWomen program, these are individuals who are applying to the TechWomen program. Again, that's that 5-week experience in the United States. It is fully funded by the US Department of State. So when you apply and get into the TechWomen program, everything is paid for. So it's a great opportunity for individuals to say, these are my professional goals. This is what I want to get out of the program. This is why I want to be a part of TechWomen. And they can really benefit at the utmost to doing that. And so then kind of when it comes to that after, that's where, we really love to have institutions that we at least have in our networks, because those are other great opportunities to expand our network. So there's not necessarily an official kind of, institution to TechWomen collaboration on the global sense. But we love to have those networks so that we can help our participants, help our alumni engage. I will say too, Sonia, even though we don't have a particular plan for this, another part of our program that I didn't talk about is we actually take 2 international delegation trips every year. So we can only accept about 100 women into the program right now. And that's total, right? So in general, we're accepting 4 to 5 women per country to participate every year. And so in order to really maximize our impact, we actually travel to 2 of our program countries every year to do about a week of programming. So I would say when we come to Montenegro, that would be a great opportunity to collaborate as well, because TechWomen could come to your institutional contacts and institutional partners there so that we can, again, inspire women and girls in STEM on the ground there. So I hope that answered your question. And I'll type the website into that and I'll definitely connect with you.
Yes, thank you so much. I know also in Montenegro that US Embassy is very, very, very supportive.
Absolutely. Yes. And yes, and we partner with all of our US embassies in our countries. So absolutely, we're looking forward to that very much.
And I just want to say that I was so excited about the Balkans. Once we announced we were expanding, I actually went and visited the Balkans a few weeks ago on vacation. So I was actually just in Montenegro a few weeks ago. I didn't get to see much. I only got to see Kotor Bay, which is obviously beautiful. But I would, of course, love to see like Podgorica and other areas one day. So very, very excited to stay in touch with you, Sanja.
Thank you so much. I'm actually currently in Montenegro making my holidays.
Lovely.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
And we saw another question. Oh, go ahead.
Exactly. So this is the thing. So it's really important this way to connect and to have as well with the different branch. So the question indeed from Orfanse Malpola, so this is speaking about the student as well. Could the student also be supporting? So when we speak about student, starting maybe with the university, and then we can have also with a serious as well, some connection as well with the IITS.
Yeah. So I would say for TechWomen, for TechWomen, all of our participants have to already hold a 4-year degree and have 2 years of work experience. But I would say IIE manages hundreds of programs actually. So if you're interested generally in international exchange opportunities, go to iie.org because we have a number of programs that are available to current students if that's of interest.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I also just want to highlight the youngers, if anyone is interested in teenagers, the Tech Girls program is a great pipeline to TechWomen. So there's the Tech Girls program, which serves girls who are 15 to 19 years old. And these girls come to the United States for 1 month to visit Virginia Tech and get STEM development, professional development training. Then they go off to college, and there's kind of there's no tech women or tech girls for college age women. But after they get their bachelor's, they can apply for TechWomen, and we very much encourage that. So it's like a sister program. And so if you know any young women, Tech Girls is in many of the countries. Is it all the countries at this point? Many.
Almost all TechWomen countries are Tech Girls countries, but Tech Girls countries has actually had a global expansion over the last year or two. So they operate already in Europe, they're in Latin America. So they have definitely a broader reach than TechWomen currently. So definitely check them out if you know high school students in particular.
Yes.
And also to understand from the younger point of view, because we have also here, so with us some colleagues from Morocco, from Pakistan, from many different places, where the high school aspect as well is where with different club, like scientific club, so it could be like a way to empower. So maybe as well from local connection, that is what we could find ways to amplify and to connect. So I think it would be a wonderful capacity as well. Very good. So, and then I'm thinking when I'm listening to all of that, serious, you're an expert or to become an expert as well with AI. That would be quite interesting to look at the database.
Oh, that would be.
That's the optional question, but you have your own question. So serious, please.
Stefan?
Yes.
Oh, no, serious. Sorry.
Yeah, so no worries, yes. So yes, that was not my question or where I wanted to go with AI. Definitely an absolutely interesting and thrilling topic. And of course, TechWomen is, of course, a project that I could imagine, branching into the AI part and working also in that area, which is insanely interesting these days, looking around at the market, because it also has this immense impact on every aspect of our daily lives already. But that was not anywhere close to my question. My question was actually very directly to you both that you presented, because you showed so much motivation and so much belief in this idea. And what I saw was amazing work, really, from all of what I've seen so far. being a stakeholder in different associations, for students, for young researchers, really putting an emphasis on this group that needs fostering and offers that, gives them the opportunity to reach out to other individuals, learning from, for example, here from colleagues in the USA. I wanted to ask you, what was that one moment you had this belief, this very strong moment where you thought, this is the right thing, I'm doing something amazing and right and good for humanity here? Where did you have this one moment where you thought, all of the struggles are absolutely worth it?
That's good. Do you want to go, Katie, first, or
No,
me?
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh man. I think for me, the first time was my first pitch day in San Francisco. And pitch day is the culmination of the impact work they do when they're in the US. So the work they're doing in the US is kind of split into 3 pods. They're doing cultural immersion. They're like learning about the city they're in and like getting used to being in a different place. They're doing professional development, which is when they're working one-on-one or two-on-one with professional mentors who are introducing them to the culture of the company they work for and helping them work on a project, a professional project. And then they're doing impact coaching, where they're working with the women from their country, the other 4 or 5 women from their country, to come up with a socioeconomic project, a project that addresses a socioeconomic issue in their country that they can take back and implement. And these often address 1 or 2 or 3 sustainable development goals. And they pitch these ideas. Every country pitches their idea at the end of the program in San Francisco or Chicago. And then they compete for seed grant money to launch their projects. And they do launch their projects. And so the very first pitch day I went to, it was so exciting to see the growth of their soft skills. Like the presentations, they got matching t-shirts, they had amazing slides, they put together videos, and I'm thinking, they're so busy already, and then they're putting together a video and getting matching t-shirts and putting together this like heart-rending presentation, and you want to give money to all of them, and the ideas are so good. And yeah, that's it. That was it for me the first time. It was just like so powerful. But I get a dose every week, because when I do the impact report and I see what they're doing around the world, that like gives me a re-up. What about you, Katie?
Yeah, I think it happens almost immediately. As Christine mentioned when introducing me, I joined the program in 2017 as just kind of the main point of contact for the participants. And from the day you see these women arrive, they've already made connections on their plane rides over, and they're just so excited about the opportunities for collaboration. And then you get to spend 5 weeks with them, just again, watching these connections form, not only with the individuals in the US, the volunteers that we work with, but from the women from 20 other countries. And they're seeing these collaborations. And it really is, I always feel, what's the right word? I'm always in awe and kind of out of my depth. I am not a STEM person, right? I'm an international educator. And so kind of my job is to just organize this program. And so you have these incredible women who are so motivated and so inspired to already make impact. They're coming into the program like that. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I'm not worthy. I feel like it's, so I feel like it happens almost immediately. And I think you have only to meet a TechWomen participant or a TechWomen fellow, and you'll see, you'll get that same inspiration for sure.
I always say each one of them is a book. Like, you'll just sit next to one of them on a bus to an event, and she's just like casually like, oh, I do this, but I also work with 3D printing for fun. I design sneakers, and and you're like, wait, but you're also a biochemist, and you also do this, and you also have a children's initiative, and wow, you're so amazing. Like they're each one of them is truly an amazing person. So, you just talk to one for 5 seconds and you're in love with the program. The program sells itself.
Thank you.
inspiring. And this is the thing, to use the best of everyone, and it's kind of an in kind by itself. So once you are part of the team, then you see right away what can make your own work as well easier by the right connection. So that's really so powerful. Yes. So very good. So we have a question also from Stefan.
Yeah, thanks a lot for Zaria and Kate for the very amazing talk. So I've been a witness of what some of your actions, because I've been working with some tech ladies from Cameroon on advertising, their journey to the US. So maybe some name will come, Ariel, and then other people like that. So, and then I had a question, because I've been following them, right? And then monitoring their activity. But I will not say sadly, but evidently, what should happen in the French-speaking country happened, because now the time that they have taken to become ventures, to build ventures or become, to get seed money and become a company, I see more now the fingerprints of other countries like Canada or France and stuff like that. I don't see the tech women from the beginning behind them. And then Cameroon is, if we consider French-speaking countries, I'm sure that they are among your best applicants, right? And so Cameroon can be taken as a prototype of French-speaking countries. So how do you monitor people who come from French-speaking countries? Because their people are really jealous of speaking French and remaining in the French perimeter. So how do you handle people there? I'm just curious.
So just so I understand your question, just the kind of going off to the fact that we are a US-based program where English is the lingua franca, like how are we reaching French speakers? Is that your question?
Yes, and then how do you monitor them after that? Because to be honest with you, if you go to such countries where French is the main official language, it's difficult to convince people, right, to go to do things differently.
Well, thank goodness for AI. So I mentioned earlier, like one of our participants had a video in Arabic, and I saw the video on like her Instagram or something, and I don't speak Arabic, but I took it to YouTube, and then I asked YouTube for English captions, I think, and I think it was available, and it gave me like rough captions so I could understand what she was talking about a little bit. And then I wrote to her and I was like, can you tell me what you're talking about in this video? And is this an impact story? So same with like French. So when I'm monitoring the women who are already in our community, if I see a post on social media, if it's in French or Arabic or another country, I just immediately take the content from the post. And if it doesn't have a translating option, I take it to translator and I see, what is this post about? What do I think it's about? And if it sounds like it's an impact story, I reach out and I say, what did you do? What is this? What happened? Because they do post a lot of what they've done. Their news stories, for example, are in different languages. I do a lot of hard work trying to figure out what's going on. You have no idea what I'm doing behind the scenes trying to figure out when someone has a news story that's from a French newspaper. I'm trying to figure out, like, what is this news story? I'm trying to translate it to figure out, like, what happened here, and is this an impact story? So that is part of how I monitor, but a lot of it is them just coming to us, thank goodness. Now, on the other end of us finding them, we rely on our fellows to spread the word. They do so much of our outreach. When it's time to recruit for the next season, they just take the initiative and they start setting up informational events with their embassies. They start doing Instagram Live to talk about their experience. They do podcasts to talk about their experiences. They are our biggest advertisers. So that is how we're able to reach the women who speak French, the women who speak Arabic. Now, sometimes we've had women who want to join the program and they don't really speak strong enough English to join. And we've had women so interested that they've improved their English just so they could apply for the program. Like, they're like, I don't speak good enough English now, but I'm going to apply in 2 years when I have better English. And some of them have actually made it into the program that way. So I hope that answers your question, but it's a big old mess. It's not easy. It's not easy with me not speaking French and them not, and some of them not speaking English. We are relying on our community to bridge that gap. I hope that makes sense. And relying on technology, in my case, to bridge the gap. We also translate our flyers into French and Arabic and Russian, you know, to help get the word out to other women as well, like that. Does that answer your question?
Yes, definitely. Just a final comment. It's because, I mean, mankind is evolving in several areas, right, in technology without Africa. And then one of the main reasons that people do not see is because the French-speaking part, which is very large, I mean, majority there doesn't want to accommodate to English. So, and I'm happy to hear testimony like you said to me that there are some students who say that I'm going to make my English better and come back in 2 years. These are the kind of success story that can be shared in the, in this part of the world. To boost other people. So fine. I'm happy with your answer.
Thanks, Stefan. We're happy. We're glad that you asked that question.
Exactly, because this question, Stefan, really brings some really good idea with your own production as well company, looking at the French version that could be translated somehow, because this lady from Nigeria that you represented, one of your fellow, it's wonderful to think how to interact as well, have those little videos, so to impact as well in school. Potentially, it would be good to translate those videos. So we can think in terms of how to have the same material being able to be translated. And this is why, I mean, Stephanie, it's really wonderful that you are also part of our organizing and outreach communication team so that we can enhance all of that. And we already see some nice article that we can write as well, isn't it, on the newsletter? So serious, so indeed, so that's also all those organizations, the IATF, the IUPAP, also I can mention a lot of potential that we could develop there. But so serious, what do you think?
I absolutely agree on what you said about different associations. Would that be, so personally, my background is in physics. So the stakeholders in the community I'm coming from and that I'm connected with are physics associations mostly, not necessarily only, but that's just, you know, where my home lies. So that does not necessarily mean that there are not a lot of other fields that belong to tech as a whole, where similar structures with similar problems or opportunities apply. So when I thought, every time I saw one of your examples that you brought forward, all of these women have, not only to me in that moment, but I believe also to the whole community, the effect of really a lighthouse or a beacon, because they are examples of what they can, of what tech women can really create. These examples that you showed are materialized, real examples of what people have created in these moments. And this is really the peak example of what young women can aspire to become. So when thinking about, when seeing this presentation, really thinking about these examples of how great such an initiative can be and become, I was thinking that we should, you or we or everybody, or they should really foster this sense of being an example to the community, especially to the next generation to come, because any of those tech women that you have just presented, any of those can speak to an audience of thousands of young women who just study or just start to study, start in high schools, and want to pursue this way. Be this one motivation, this one kickstarting motivation to pursue this way, because studying tech subjects and really become a professional and really start to really have your proficiency in one of those subjects is difficult. But being one of these inspiring people, that one inspiring kickstarting person, that one impact, I believe all of your examples have the chance to really have the power to be that. So I believe we should definitely foster that and take this huge power and huge example that they are and bring that to this community of young students, young women around the globe. Can of course be high school students, but can also be university students, both with their, like, both in their completely different scenarios, but both with their own issues. But at both points, I believe it is super, super crucial. Everybody of us knows, especially the people who are not in the STEM and tech field, that are the most important ones, because all of them at some point had the experience where their curiosity or their motivation for the field was at some point extinguished by someone who didn't foster their curiosity. Because we all know children come to the world with this huge sense of curiosity and discovering the world. And that is something we should always care for with young students and young children and high school students and everybody on their way to becoming an expert on the field. So what I would be interested in is looking into ways on how these young examples can inspire the next generation. So I was wondering what aspects in all of what IIE is already doing, what aspects really foster this idea of inspiring the next generation?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we can always do more, right? I think that there's always that potential. And I just want to thank you so much for your comments. Like, yes, here, like, yes, all to everything. That was wonderful. So some of the things, as Zaria mentioned, a huge part of her job is that amplification. And we do our best, as Zaria, I should say, I don't do it. Zaria does her best to, she's tagging embassies, she's tagging companies, she's tagging, and sorry, my daughter's coming in to say goodbye. All right, I love you. Sorry. It's my daughter, Fern, future woman in STEM. All right, baby, I gotta talk, honey. Okay. And so Zaria does a huge part of amplifying those voices. I think another thing that we currently do are in those delegation trips. And one of our huge goals in those delegation trips is to give those alumni that platform, right? So when we come to, Stephane, we were actually just in Cameroon in February. When we come to a place like Cameroon, we actually put our alumni on the stage, right? We're saying, hey, these are the examples in your country for someone that you can look up to. And so, Fern, can you please head on? Okay. And so that's, again, kind of two things that we can do. I think one kind of step that I would love to engage with you, Sirius, and anyone else on the call is what opportunities, what contacts do you have? We can amplify those within our internal networks and connect fellows to those opportunities. So with that, I'm going to turn off my mic and say goodbye to my daughter. And let's
and I'll go ahead and continue on what Katie was saying. So yeah, so a lot of our alumni, they start like accelerators because they're actually trying to get, because they all get inspired like a little kid, like we all get inspired during the program, and they get that, what you were talking about, how children think they can do anything, they get that feeling after the program. And anytime we have an event like a delegation trip, and someone in the comments mentioned the potential in Morocco, and that's definitely something we want to touch on because we've done so much in Morocco. Every time we have any kind of event, there's like this big spark, and we can see the spark rippling to all the attendees, all of the youth that are at the event, all of the other women, and even, the men who are innovators who come to the events as well. And so it's interesting because a lot of them then go on to start accelerators to try to get youth into a pipeline of meeting people who are looking for young people with new ideas who need funding to launch those ideas, especially towards sustainable development goals. So it's really about getting people the spark, and then getting those people in front of more people to get them the spark, and also getting them in front of people with money too, or people with resources of some kind. So my thinking is, if you guys have communities of people who would like to hear from our alumni from specific types of areas, like we know people who are really interested in this kind of thing specifically, then we could see potentially about saying, hey, could we get a guest speaker in a certain country to go speak at a high school about what they're doing? Or like, because I think some of our alumni would just fall right in line with what they do. They run robotics camps. They run boot camps for IT and whatnot. They run science camps. they do all kinds of stuff with young people and then even with adults. We can't leave adults out. I love adult education. So they also do adult education, and I think they would love to be in front of people. So it's really a question of, is it a virtual audience or a real life audience? Who knows the audiences? What kind of audience? And is this an audience that's looking to fund people? Is it an audience that's looking to be inspired? And I really believe that if there were to be some kind of buzz, some conversation about TechWomen going and APS and whatnot about what we do, and we were to share that with our women, I think our women would be interested in talking to people in their countries or virtually, sharing their experiences, sharing what they do, sharing their projects. That kind of collaboration, I think it's a real thing.
Perfect. So I think it's really like a very promising series. So we can really think on developing that. And then while you were speaking about accelerator, I will put it on particle accelerator in one sense, because I'm also sharing, yeah, indeed, that's where we could connect even further with science. And because I'm sharing as well the science accelerator of the IUPAP, International Union of Pure and Applied Physics, where as well Sirius is looking at the student aspect. So there is a huge community looking from the science aspect. And I think because this is exactly what we would like to do, to look at the outreach aspect, to present the accelerator and particle accelerator that really bring large community behind us, that if you know the LHC also, this is like a great role model as well for the others. So, and then to empower locally. So this is the other aspect that you mentioned, like how to empower the alumni and the alumni as well from other schools that we have, like, for instance, also with Stefan, where we are also operating and supporting the African School of Fundamental Physics and application. So there, same way, our alumni would certainly be interested by the STEM. And then I would also like to maybe, and that's, I think, the important aspect, the UNESCO, because this current presentation is as well following up several other colloquia that we had, and the one in March, if you look at the highlight that was for the Sustainable Development Goal presented so by UNESCO, by Amal Kassi, so was exactly tuning at how the STEM could as well be empowering. And as a matter of fact, following that presentation, we are asked to write article that would compile and explain what STEM would be. So you see there, we already have with UNESCO, I think, also a lot of capacity to empower. And that will be, as she was presenting in every country, because UNESCO can give the whole model, like for instance, CERN, or like what Sandra as well is presenting. So this is also empowering by large organization, but then indeed, this is the responsibility locally. So those alumni can really get this motivation to change the world on their own field, on their own country. And that's what I think we all believe in. So to give this possibility is perfect. So maybe there was one question from Alan. So just so that I don't forget it. So he had to leave also because of the bandwidth. So he was mentioning that he was also at the States 10 years ago. So, and there was this program launch that was funded by the NASA and Nike. So do you have this kind of backing up now? So is there those companies, for instance, those really large companies that can work a lot also for the image that it could bring as well to the IIE or for the IIE?
So yes, but in a different way than I think what Alan is thinking. So again, as I mentioned, the TechWomen program is a fully funded program from the US Department of State. So all of our money comes from the US government. However, when we are planning out our 5-week program every fall, we are in touch with so many companies in order to support our participants. And our company partners support in a couple of different ways. So our company partners support volunteer professional mentors. So we actually individually match each TechWomen emerging leader with a professional mentor who can support her professional development goals. So we work with companies like LinkedIn, like Salesforce, like Chime, those sorts of companies to be able to support. So it really is an in-kind donation where they're just providing that opportunity for their employees to support our emerging women leaders. We also do have company partners who help us out with things like event space and event sponsorship. We have a whole event series during the program for the women. And so companies like Juniper will host a big event for us, provide catering, all of that sort of stuff. So again, kind of in kind. We also do solicit kind of small scale funding from our company partners to support seed grants. So as Zaria talked about before, we have a pitch competition. We award the top pitches a seed funding of about $3,000. And so companies often like to provide that sort of funding so that they can support the work of the women. So again, it's not necessarily kind of large scale official like partnership funding that we look for from our partners. We don't actually require that given our funding from the US government, but we love our company partners to be able to support in those concrete ways. They also do great things for amplifying the voice of the program. Our professional mentors who come from those particular companies, they're still in touch many times with the individuals that they mentored and are able to collaborate. We've had collaborations that have gone on for years with, like Lawrence Berkeley National Labs, with Juniper, as I mentioned. So those collaborations continue in that way. So I hope that kind of answers Alan's question, even though he's not here. But so that's the sort of kind of company support that we love.
And also just like going back to the State Department, because we haven't talked a lot about our mentors. And our mentors are incredible. Our mentors are the women and sometimes, men allies in the US who do the professional mentoring, the impact coaching and the cultural mentoring, and they are phenomenal. So she mentioned some of them work at Lawrence Berkeley Labs. And what's really cool, because I track our mentors too, is seeing how their careers also blossom and how their impact also blossoms. So we'll have like a mentor who works in one branch of the State Department, like maybe she's an advisor for US Energy Department and she works at Lawrence Berkeley Labs, in San Francisco, in Berkeley. And then because of TechWomen, she meets another mentor who works in a different part of some kind of advisement as an advisor for a different part of the State Department, and works at a different lab or something. And then they decide to collaborate on a project together or to introduce people to each other, like some kind of project that involves global women in STEM entrepreneurs making impact or something like that. Or they decide to throw an event together. We actually just wrote an impact story about Jill Finlayson and Reshma Singh, who threw an event together in San Francisco at Berkeley's San Francisco branch to do with what Reshma, one of Reshma's impact projects that she's doing with the energy department. And so even the global impact of our mentors is rippling outward because of their contact with our organization. Even this is a crazy story, but I actually met a woman who worked for NASA. She couldn't be one of our mentors because she didn't live in the area. But she was very interested in TechWomen. And she was like, if ever any of your TechWomen people need anything to do with NASA, just let me know. And then a few weeks later, one of our women in Central Asia was doing something with a satellite, and she was doing like a science day for girls and wanted an inspiring speaker to come and talk about what it's like to work with astronauts. And I was like, I met someone who works with astronauts who works at NASA. I'll ask her on LinkedIn if she'd like to speak for your event. And she put together a video. She was actually traveling to Dubai for an event, but she put together an inspirational video for the girls about her career as an astronaut wrangler, which was presented for this Girls' Day in Central Asia. So the connections aren't always formal, but they are robust and they last a long time. So I hope so. I think between Katie and I think we answered that question.
Yeah, perfectly. So this is those tools. So those international tools, language can be one barrier, but there could be some way. Inspiration, this is beyond borders as well. So that's what is the most important. And tools like those little video, like a leaflet as well, and communication, which is like I guess the most important way to share. So
and
serious.
Oh, go ahead.
No, please
So-
go
so-
for it. You wanted to say
Oh,
something.
I was just gonna say the language barrier that you mentioned. I think the fellow ended up, because she spoke English, she translated the video for the girls because I got to see the video. So, you know, they worked together. She made the one woman made the video, the other woman translated it to Russian. All the young women at the event got to watch it and be inspired by an astronaut wrangler. So very cool.
Exactly, that's the national language.
So what I wanted to say is, like, I absolutely want to highlight two things here. The first thing is what Katie said. This, first of all, choosing a mentor for every tech woman that comes over. That is, and then, you know, purposefully choosing certain mentors for certain people, matching them up. This is, you know, still not like, I'm not 60, but I've done one or two things. So from my experience, this is the eye to detail that you have to make such initiatives really successful. This is really where the edge is, to do this extra effort, look at, like, you know, where you're over the edge of what most people would go for, where you match these people, these mentors with the mentees. You look up what are their strengths, where do they want to improve, what are the strengths of the mentors, where do they feel most comfortable with, who did they have mentored in the past. You know, having this eye for detail and this understanding of, you know, understanding what human fits to what other character. You know, it's like this is amazing, and this one edge of detail that is really, really important. I want to highlight this here because I felt this was not stressed enough. This is significantly larger than it was stressed in right now. This is really important. And the same thing counts for the companies, because having companies, and you do not only mention, like, you could say like Nike, Adidas, and so on, you know, like all the shoe brands, but you mentioned things like, you know, national labs. You mentioned NASA. You mentioned companies like, you know, Juniper and stuff like this. There's like, that's a very, very broad range of partners, all of which are different. National labs don't work the same way, you know, private sector companies work. Then it's a huge difference. Is it a mid-sized local, you know, USA company, or is it a global player? They will want to support different aspects. These are aspects you learn them over time, and then keeping these partners, which shows that they are really, really, you know, happy with this collaboration. That is another thing you have to highlight. This is not self-explained. This is like not that's not easy. This is really difficult. This is really professional, very well set up partnership. The way you explained it, looking into what company wants to support which areas, and then also use it, like, you know, working together with them, resonating so that they also amplify your voice on the social media platforms and in the community, really doing your outreach. This is what shows how great you're leading and you're working on this project. This is absolutely amazing and stunning. And I absolutely have this is something you have to stress. This is something I really have to stress, and I'm really amazed here. And also, this is one area. And the second part here is what you said. You know what? I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Zaria, is that correct?
Zaria, like Maria.
Zaria, okay. Better asking than doing it wrong 10 times. So
no problem.
What Zaria said is also this area that is not only makes a huge event, but also makes the community around it. Because having these mentors and being able to connect skills and aspects that you heard, like, for example, from the lady from NASA, and then connecting that to, you know, Southeast Asia, this is not, or like Middle Asia, that is also not easy. This is something that you have to have the people for, to see these connections, bring these people together, create this network, because that is really what keeps people in communities and memberships. This is what is so important, to show there is benefit, there is value in this membership. We connect you. You also receive something afterwards. And everybody here is thankful for giving for each other. It's not only taking, but it's giving to each other. And that's also for the mentors. I mean, you could say, okay, I'm a mentor, I come in, I mentor, I go. Maybe I even get, money for being a mentor, or I even do it just because I believe I do something good for humanity and for a good cause. But you do not only get that, but you are in a community where another mentor helps you and supports you and gives you also new impact so you can grow yourself. So it's not, you come as a mentor on your piece of paper or like your lanyard, but you're actually also a mentee, because all of the people at the event are actually all mentees, because everybody mentors each other. Even the participants give something to the mentors. So much ideas and opportunities that they give that the mentors would have never expected. And that is what actually makes this program great. And I believe that is why I'm so insanely amazed about what you have presented today. Thank you.
And this is the important thing that Zaria was mentioning. They are all volunteer, those mentors. And that's important to underline it, really. And really to see the follow-up aspect. So this is why I think from what you describe, and this might be the challenge for you, I think, lady, like how to follow up, how to process all those information. This is why I was mentioning those database and those machine learning aspects. So this is why I feel like there are some great projects to help and support the most effective way by the right category, by having the most effective way as well to process and to implement exactly what you said. It's a wonderful identification, assess, and then the process aspect. So it's really important to do that. So
go ahead, Christine. I was just going to say, Sirius,
go ahead.
You
and
really
we have
seem
2 more minutes. Yeah.
I feel like Sirius has really understood the program, and I feel immensely proud of Katie and I, because he's just hitting like all of the points. Boom, boom, boom. Like mentors of mentors. Like you're using words we use in our social media posts. Like serious. Like you understand TechWomen so well, and that's just amazing that after just one presentation, like you know, like I feel like we've touched another life. Like he's going to be talking about TechWomen to like, you know, somebody next week in a coffee shop or something. So anyway, go on, Christine, but I just wanted to say you really have a great understanding of what we're doing. And
actually, before Christine
you're muting, Zaria. Yeah.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Before Christine goes on, I also wanted to say, I'm happy to connect definitely afterwards, and we can talk about how, you know, what I can provide the network and the stakeholders that I know. Even if I don't know, maybe I know someone who knows. So whenever you know, because you mentioned one of the aspects that holds you back is that sometimes you need more community or more stakeholders, more areas that you can connect to. I believe there's a bunch of young women that you haven't touched yet, and I'm happy to help you where I can.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And indeed, not only women in one sense, we are not sitting in that way. So this is also important to emphasize what you said, that the mentor can be also men in that sense. So that's also important. Huh? Yeah, very good. And we will have all the different links, everything, all the material will be available on our webpage. We will put also the little movie, a lot of the address that you have put in the chat. So that way we will gather everything in one place. We will write in that article as well to be published certainly by the end of the year with the UNESCO, some of the different presentation and the highlight as well. This movie will be available so forever, sustainability as well in that sense, thanks to the YouTube that is being produced right now. And so then we need to, I think if we want to keep it as well concise, to have so simply the presentation of so next month, and we will have hopefully so the same broad representation as well. We didn't speak about, but there was from Pakistan, from Morocco, with Senegal as well, a lot of worldwide connections so today. So thanks a lot everyone to have listened and to have participated, giving those ideas. And then I'm sharing now the screen to introduce so the next speaker that we will have so with us, who had some short introduction today. So which is Sanja Darjamekovic, who is from Montenegro, and she's the former minister of science there. So she has a lot of political as well aspect and how to be able to implement. I think this is, again, a challenge that she will be able to explain. And the topic will be to beat the cancer with the cyst while shaping science in Southeast Europe. So I will leave to the acronym as well as a surprise for you to be able to work a little bit maybe on that, and then to join us if you wish to on the FIP, but then you have possibility to also connect from any place of the world if you're a student with free access as well to the APS. And we really hope that we will have more speakers as well, as wonderful as those two ladies that we had today. And this wonderful as well interaction and engaging communication and vibrant discussion we had. So thanks a lot. So everyone for listening. Thank you, Stefan, a lot and Sirius. So really, really good to have possibility to connect with everyone. So Stefan, no, I think it was let's see. I see one hand up.
No, what was the mistake? I wanted to say congratulations, and then I.
Thank you. Thank you all so much as well.
Binta just raised her hand. She's one of our fellows. I didn't know she was here.
So you see, that's really good. So I enable her to speak, but maybe she's not with the microphone. But then I guess that, so you see, your fellows are following. And we are now staying tuned. So with the rest of those presentations. So thank you, everyone. And stay tuned. Bye.
Thank you for having us.
Next.
Thank you all so much. Bye.
Thank you.